I grew up in New Zealand. My dad from New Zealand, mum from Wales. Yeah, I grew up competing for New Zealand, and got to a certain point where I sort of achieved a fair bit for myself in surfing, and was actually living in Europe, and the opportunity arose to go to the dark side, change nations. And I sort of just took it with both hands. I had considered competing for the other side of my family, for Wales, and well, there were World Games. I was down in Europe. There's a World Games coming up in France, and I had a chat with a couple of the Welsh Federation guys, and they seemed pretty keen. So as it turns out, it was a good successful move for me. It definitely sort of spiked my interest and the love for the sport again. When I started competing and started getting back to that level that I had before, I really started finding that love again, and yeah, I think it showed, because the results with the events that I was doing did come quite consistently. It's been 3 years now, and I've had 2 Welsh titles, 2 British titles, and back-to-back European titles. So yeah, it's been quite successful, and the European title's something that sort of hasn't happened for Wales for quite a long time, and I don't think in shortboard it's never been won back-to-back, which was quite a big achievement, and something I was quite proud of. It's definitely been difficult in terms of financially. To come into a life, you've got a family and you're working full time. That's where your money's coming from. Obviously, my partner can't work because she's at home with the kids, and so it's sort of one income, trying to do all these events and have time to have that family life. It's financially, it is pretty tough. So, it sounds nice when you talk about surfing, going around doing this and doing that, and it is nice while you're doing it, but the reality is that it costs quite a lot of money, and yeah, it's all self-funded. The surf industry is not what it used to be, and the money doesn't drip down to, say, someone like myself anymore. I definitely had a really good life in it, and but now that I've stepped away from actually competing full time all around the world, the money dries up, and you've got to go down the self-funded routes, like your crowdfunding and all these things, and they can prove quite difficult.
So explain to us your training route that we just watched you do today then.
The circuit that I do here sort of depends on the sea, to be honest. If there's enough happening for me in the sea and I don't have to come here so often, I sort of find that a bit more beneficial. But obviously Cornwall in the summer and the winter, you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to have a lot of onshore conditions and things like that. So yeah, getting down here as much as possible is sort of helping me through those times. For us, like, you want to be strong, but you don't want to be muscular. You want to be quite, your core's got to be strong. I mean, your arms have got to be strong, but you don't want to build any muscle, because if you get too bulky, you can't move. You've got to be flexible and strong. When I was competing full time, we didn't have that week to recover. It was surfing an event all week, like from Monday to Sunday, and then the next Monday you're back in the sea for the next event, and it could have been in another country. We might do 4 or 5 countries in 4 or 5 weeks and 4 or 5 different events. So you don't have the luxury of that recovery time when you're competing full time. So you need to be up to speed, and as punishing as it is, you've got to keep up with it. I'll be surfing till I'm too old and crusty to walk down the beach.
It's one of those things. It's you do it as much for just the pure love of it than you do for achieving things, and it's a lifestyle.